A boundary without a consequence is actually a suggestion, because the person hearing the boundary has never seen you enforce it. It's just you say, they do it, and then nothing, there's no consequence. Hi, welcome back to the Woman Experience. If you're new here, my name is Edith. I speak everything about self-development, growth, personal development, leveling up, becoming the best version of yourself. If that's something that's your kind of thing, stick around here. We're about learning, evolving, growing. One of the things the only thing I wanted to talk to you about this channel today is about people pleasing. If there's something I have struggled with for most of my adult life, is being a people pleaser. And it wasn't until I realized that it was making me say yes to things I didn't want to and saying no to things I actually did want, that I realized this was something I needed to tackle. So one of the things you need to realize, that at least I have learned, is that being a people pleaser, when you stop doing it, it doesn't mean that you're rude, that you're inauthentic, that you're not a nice person. It's actually about it's about self-respect. It's about being authentic. It's about being assertive into the things that serve you. Because I realized the more I was saying, I was not going after what I want, or saying yes to things when I shouldn't have, saying no when I shouldn't have, it just messed up the way I lived my life. So number one, learn to live with the discomfort. I remember when I started being very honest about what I wanted, what I thought, what I didn't want, it just felt like a very uncomfortable. It's a very new feeling. It's not something you're used to, because especially if you're someone who's very empathetic, very emotionally oriented, you tend to feel people's discomfort when you actually say no. And so it can be very, very uncomfortable if you're a people pleaser. So please start being comfortable with discomfort. So you need to remember that you are not responsible for other people's emotions. It doesn't mean that you're doing anything wrong, and that knowing that the right people, the people who really care about you, your friends, family, whoever it is, will respect your boundaries. And that's the thing about people pleasing. Once you start being assertive and stop really caring about what other people think, you will then know people who really are there for you just because of who you are versus who you were before. So practice sitting with that discomfort instead of rushing to fix it, because this is one thing that people pleasers do. So you see something that's not right, or, there's silence in the room and you want to quickly talk and fill the gap. So you are a fixer, because every time I think you choose self-respect over other people's approval, you start getting smaller. So please start to sit with that discomfort. The discomfort that tells you, oh, they might feel bad. Sit with it. It might be hard, but start sitting with it, and you'll well be on your way to not being a people pleaser. And if you can, if possible, I would remove myself from those situations so that I wasn't always jumping in to be the one that was giving solutions. So I hope that helps. Start to sit with that discomfort by yourself. Number two, start small. And what I mean by starting small is practice saying no in very low stakes situations. So you don't have to start saying no to something huge at work. For example, you want to start small, because people pleasers, by the way, extend this in all areas of their lives, careers, relationships, high stakes situations. But I would start with something small, and that's what I did. So, for example, a friend asks you to go shopping, but you don't feel like it, or really you don't have time. Instead of simply making an excuse and saying, you know what, I will let you know next week Friday. Or you know what, let me see if I can squeeze in some time. Simply say no. No thanks. And if possible, bonus point if you don't qualify. Qualifying means you say no. Oh, I'm saying no because now, I'm trying to find other, things, these other things on my plate. Just say no. But those are very small stakes because it's a friend. Someone calls you, but you're not in the mood to talk. Instead of forcing yourself, let it go to voicemail and you can always call back. Like, these are very low stakes, but you would be surprised how many people, even in very low stakes, so, you're tired, you want to go home, your friends tell you, oh, let's go out for a drink, and you really don't feel like it. You go. And there goes your evening of rest. So the more you practice the small stakes, the small no's, the easier you start to get to the big ones, because you realize, there was actually an option to say no. So remember, sit with the discomfort and then the low stakes. Number 3, I want you to start replacing I'm sorry with thank you. The thing I always used to do is over apologize even when I did not need to. So people pleasers, we over apologize. And there's nothing wrong with apologizing if really it's necessary. But always apologizing even when it's not, it doesn't help you stop your people-pleasing tendencies. So instead of saying, sorry for being late, you can say like, thank you for waiting for me. Instead of saying, sorry for needing help, everyone needs help. Say, I appreciate your support, I really do. Because this small shift, what it does, it removes that guilt, and replaces it with self-worth. Like, I am human, I also make mistakes. I want help from time to time. So you want to make sure that the way you frame your language is empowering you. The other thing to try out is to set boundaries and actually try and enforce them. Because a boundary without a consequence is actually a suggestion, because the person hearing the boundary has never seen you enforce it. It's just you say, they do it, and then nothing, there's no consequence. So if someone, for example, constantly disrespects your time, your space, don't just be upset. What I would do is protect my schedule such that if that time is past, I am busy doing something else, right? If a friend is draining your energy, or a family member, or whatever it is, don't just complain. You want to limit your availability. If someone guilt trips you, during a conversation, don't tolerate it, just call it out there and then. So I want you to get very, very clear on what are the mechanisms I can employ so that it's very clear there's a consequence. Especially the one for making your availability for me was a game changer for me, because if this time is past, I am busy doing something else. So it's not like it's a way to cut people out. They are just really, think of them as guidelines that you're showing people how to treat you. You know how you would have that strict parent who was always like, if this does not happen, it's past. And you would make sure, because this person meant business, you want to be that person. And I think the other thing that you want to think about, it's not about being liked, it's just being respected. Because people just want to make sure that they are respected and you honor their time, you honor who they are. So do you want to be liked or do you want to be respected? Because if you're about being liked, actually people pleasing is just constantly want to be liked. So you want to be the woman who, speaks their no's, makes sure that there's consequences if boundaries are disrespected, you value your time and energy, you say no without guilt. So not everyone will like you, but that's okay. And I would really emphasize on the practical mechanisms, like I have said. If your weak spot in people pleasing is you don't have a response in certain situations, try and lay out those situations if they keep recurring and have an answer that's written down that you'll always remember. Oh, if this happens, I remind myself that I'm going to be saying this. Or if this time is past because someone at work is constantly disrespecting my time, then on to the next thing. Now they know there's a consequence. So make sure you now know those scenarios and you always have a way to counter them. The other thing that you can really try to do is make peace that you will in fact disappoint people. When you disappoint people, there are those who won't like it. They may get upset, they may guilt trip you, you might be called a bit selfish, you might be called a bit unavailable, but really, now you know the people who are in your corner and those who aren't. And when I talk about these things, it's not like a very combative process. Most of the time, people won't even give you this feedback. They'll probably just slowly start to see, to come out of your life and go away anyway. So for me, it's not that there will be like very severe friendships or things cut off. Sometimes it happens, but it will be a very gradual process and you will thank yourself 6 months from now, because your job is not really to live for others. Your job is to live for you. And here is the thing, when you start this journey of trying to stop people pleasing, the people that are really in your corner will be like, wow, congratulations on the change. And we don't talk about this often enough. I have gotten a lot of good feedback from those who knew me and be like, oh, I see the positive change. I see that now you're speaking, advocating for yourself more, because when you stop people pleasing, you become somebody else. You actually start achieving things that you never thought were possible. One of the ways in which I was very guilty of people pleasing was when receiving service, especially from service providers. For example, going to the salon or doing my nails or doing something. And I wouldn't sometimes point out things. And yet, these people are more than happy to give you exactly what you want. So you become more confident because you trust yourself more. And because you start feeling this sense of a bit of power, because you realize, oh, all I need to do is actually ask, is actually make sure that I voice out what does not sit right. And then you also encourage people in your life to be straight with you. So when you start on your journey to people pleasing, you will realize that you will also require of people to shoot straight with you, for them to tell you when you did them wrong, and you'll appreciate, be like, okay, I get it. So this, what I'm realizing from my gradual growth in people pleasing, I'm also appreciating people who just shoot straight. People who tell you, like, this does not sit right with me, I'm not available on this time, and that's actually fine. And I don't hold people on a pedestal, and I don't, always think the worst of them when they tell me that this does not fly with me. That's actually fine. And that's the best thing about when you stop people pleasing. You just get more authentic connections. You get really good feedback when you're in areas you're trying to grow, because people realize, you're built different. You're not there defending yourself or trying, to just please others. So you get more meaningful relationships and experiences. So today you have a choice, I think, because that's a choice I made and I'm still on that journey. You either keep bending, adjusting, pleasing, and you will never really please everyone, or you start standing up for the things that you truly want. You start growing, you start choosing yourself. So I want you to tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you're going to stop people pleasing about in your life? Is it more, getting better service like me? Like for things I was actually paying for? Can you imagine? And I'm there trying to, she'll feel bad, or she'll feel like, I don't honor her time. What's the one thing? Is it family, where you're like giving too much of yourself in things that you don't want to do? Are you going to voice it out? And please share with me in the comments, because this is one thing that a lot of people I know are struggling with, and though they won't admit it. Like, share, and subscribe, because here we are all about growing. It tells the algorithm that we are onto some good content. And let me tell you, the moment you stop seeking approval, not just paying lip service to it, actually stop seeking approval, is the moment you start living. For me, I don't really care much about people pleasing, because one, I'm on like this public platform, and I have seen my mindset shift, because I'm not really about people pleasing or just, minding what people will say. I guarantee you'll be much better for it. So let me know, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye.